Miller.
Thank you, Chairman Smith and Ranking Member Neal. And welcome here today, Secretary Yellen. I'm going to be on a little different track than my friend from Alabama. I'm deeply concerned about many of the action that the Treasury Department and President Biden's administration are taking. Unfortunately, every American is feeling the constant pinch of inflation, higher interest rates, and lower purchasing power. Despite this, the Treasury and the IRS appear to be only trying to make our constituents' lives worse instead of better. For example, the IRS has continued to illegally delay the implementation of the Democrat draconian 1099-K threshold. The Treasury Department has issued weak foreign entity of concern definitions to that which fail to protect American tax dollars from flowing to Chinese companies. Guidance coming from the Treasury Department on energy tax incentives are blocking traditional energy communities from participating in the future energy economy and leaving them behind. You have led an unprecedented attack on American taxpayer privacy by overseeing the expansion of IRS snooping and yet failing to crack down on the leaks of sensitive taxpayer documents. Furthermore, the IRS has wasted millions of taxpayer dollars on its unauthorized direct file program. The Biden administration has shockingly announced its plan to raise taxes by over $7 trillion next year. You said last month under oath that there is no plan to protect middle-class taxpayers from these planned increases. On the world stage, we've surrendered the U.S. tax base to unelected global bureaucrats at the OECD and failed to protect the American tax system from what I think of as a heinous international interference. On every front, the American taxpayer loses. Our nation becomes weaker, and our global adversaries are rewarded and emboldened. Secretary Yellen, I'm deeply concerned about our domestic industry's reliance on Chinese technologies and investments. As the recently appointed chairwoman of the Supply Chains Tax Team, I look forward to working with my colleagues to improve upon the broken IRA's energy credits, protecting a competitive corporate rate, and ensuring that the United States is the best place to invest, as it was under President Trump's historic tax cuts. I've introduced two bills, the Protecting American Advanced Manufacturing Act and the End Chinese Dominance of Electric Vehicles Act, to improve on the foreign entity of concern definitions for the 45X and the 30D tax credits, respectively. The current agreements establish a dangerous precedent that will take the U.S. decades to reverse by creating a future where our automotive and other industries are heavily reliant on foreign technologies. Without immediate passage of both of my bills, Chinese entities will receive billions of American tax dollars every single year. Secretary Yellen, yes or no? Does the Biden administration support taxpayer dollars funding Chinese entities?
Well, when it comes to electric vehicles, the IRA, which obviously the administration supports, has foreign entity of concern restrictions coming into effect this year and next, which will severely curtail, almost prevent entirely participation of Chinese firms in producing components or minerals or processing
That's not
that
yes
go
or no.
into batteries.
That's not.
So that's a very significant restriction that will protect our supply chain. With respect to 45X, that's a credit that Congress directed to go to any company that undertakes certain advanced manufacturing
Reclaiming
in
my
the
time.
United States.
By allowing these Chinese companies to maintain control of the technologies, the intellectual property, and the supply chains, all the while receiving American taxpayer subsidies, how will this encourage U.S. companies to develop the technologies to become less dependent upon China and our adversaries? It doesn't. Does the Biden administration share any of my concern that China is using various IRA credits to deepen its influence on our domestic manufacturing industries?
The United States is doing everything we can in Treasury in implementing the IRA to strengthen our supply chains and make them less vulnerable to China.
Well, continue to remain skeptical on the environmental and economic benefits behind your decision-making, and I do urge swift passage of my bills to further protect the United States manufacturing, and I yield back my time.